Imagine floating palaces crafted for the world's richest, where price is no object and luxury knows no limits. I invite you to lean into a world where teak decks gleam like stages, where staircases curve like the bow of a symphony, and where every sunrise is served with silver and silence. These are not merely vessels. They are declarations, sculptures that sail, and private worlds that answer only to their owners' whims. Tonight, we sail through the 10 most expensive yachts on Earth, masterpieces of design, engineering, and excess. You will hear the creak of history, the whisper of engines that could move continents, and the measured hush of rooms that have seen fortunes pass beneath their skylights. History supreme is legend incarnate, a private vessel whispered about in rooms where money is measured in museums. Think of an idea so audacious that common sense takes a backseat gold-plated fittings, meteorite inlays, and furniture that reads like an exhibit. Rumor and rumor's cousin have wrapped around this ship, half fable, half status symbol, and entirely unforgettable. Its allure is not in speed or passenger lists, but in the audacity of adornment. Metal and stone turned into an argument about what wealth can become. Owners of such a ship do not merely travel, they parade their taste for the extraordinary, as if each corridor were a banner. To step aboard is to enter a curated temple of possessions, a place where every object insists upon an origin story. In the quiet of night, when decks cool and the gold catches moonlight, History Supreme reminds the world that extravagance can be sculpted into myth. Gold-plated fixtures close-up, meteorite inlaid surfaces, exterior silhouette with golden reflections. With an almost militarized discretion, a yacht built to move in shadows while announcing power in light. Owned by one of the globe's richest tycoons, she carries the comforts of palatial living and the protocols of security that rival small nations. Multiple decks cascade like terraces of private life, cinema rooms, sun-drenched salons, suites wrapped in velvet dusk. But then there are features that read like a thriller's checklist. Missile detection suites, secure communication arrays, armored options. The crew move like practiced courtiers, executing routines that make opulence seem effortless. On board, privacy is a currency as valuable as champagne, purchased with technology and discretion. When Eclipse cuts through water, she does so as both sanctuary and statement, a living paradox of tender luxury and ironclad resolve. Night exterior with security lighting, interiors of private suites, control room and security equipment. A vessel built to challenge the idea that great size must mean slow grace. She pairs raw, uncompromising power with interiors that whisper refinement rather than shout it, an engineering marvel in steel and silence. The hull is streamlined, an arrow that eats distance, while within are rooms arranged with a respect for proportion that borders on reverence. There is an undeniable poetry in the way Azam moves, a feeling that tremendous force can also be beautifully controlled. Her owners prize capability as much as comfort. Speed becomes an accomplice to exclusivity, a means to arrive where others cannot. To be aboard Azam is to feel the sea's potential and the human urge to harness it, a reminder that sometimes the most lavish statements are those of pure, unadorned performance. Azam, cutting through waves. Interior lounges with understated luxury. Engine room shots. Hull lines. Dilbar is a lesson in volume, where square meters become storytelling devices, and space itself is treated as a luxury. In her vastness lie palatial spaces, an immense pool that takes the breath away, cabins whose windows drink sea and sky, corridors that lead to rooms named for their grandeur rather than their function. Her decks accommodate an entourage, a retinue of staff, friends, all served by infrastructure designed to make extravagance repeatable and reliable. There is a human scale to proclaimed wealth, and Dilbar's designers understood that scale can inspire both awe and a kind of quiet humility. The yacht is not just roomy, It is hospitable in a way that elevates guests into a communal theater of leisure. When twilight drapes the atriums, light plays across surfaces that used to be only in palaces. And for a moment, the sea feels domesticated by human ambition. Built for royalty and protocol, Al Said is conceived as a floating stateroom where ceremonies might unfold and dignitaries might be received. Grand reception spaces dominate her design. Halls wide enough to host orchestras, salons intended for formal greetings, a scale that translates into state-level hospitality. The craftsmanship hints at a lineage of sovereign taste. Materials chosen for beauty and for conveying continuity and legitimacy. There is a choreography to movement aboard Al Said staircases that funnel to galleries, balconies that frame the business of display, rooms whose acoustics remember names and speeches. It's the kind of yacht where you can imagine treaties sealed over dinner and performances given for select, appreciative audiences. In a world governed by optics, Al Said becomes both palace and platform, a vessel that carries lineage as easily as it cuts water. Serene captures a different temperament, modern elegance that opts for calm rather than clangor. Panoramic glass walls invite the ocean into living spaces, making the horizon part of the decor and daylight an ever-changing curator. A private submarine slips as a quiet companion beneath her hull, an emblem of discreet exploration reserved for those who value novelty without spectacle. Interiors are sculpted into repose, muted palettes, clean lines, furnishings that support conversation and contemplation rather than command attention. Her form is contemporary but generous, offering places to disappear without losing connection to the world beyond the rails. Service aboard Serene is unobtrusive, practiced to the point where luxury becomes seamless. She is a study in restraint, a reminder that the most commanding extravagance can sometimes be the one that doesn't shout. Rising Sun is a symbol of celebrity ownership, married to bespoke craftsmanship, a yacht that reads like a private gallery full of art light and the promise of privacy. Bespoke touches thread through her design, each element selected to reflect a connoisseur's eye and an owner's desire for personalization. Entertainment spaces are generous and varied, from movie rooms to gymnasiums to accommodate every kind of elite leisure and to ensure that guests feel both pampered and entertained. The layout favors social life. Salons open onto decks, dining rooms open into night, and cabins are sanctuaries that respect the rhythms of sleep and solitude. Crew and captain know nuance, anticipating needs like a practiced concierge at sea. And when she glides into harbor, Rising Sun announces not only a presence, but a personality, polished, private, and perfectly curated. Expansive helipads, grand staircases, outdoor cinemas that make the sea a screen for spectacle. Living aboard Dubai is to accept that every amenity can be amplified. Terraces that become stages for gatherings, interiors that mirror five-star resorts, technical systems that make such scale functional and sumptuous. She is ornate by design and generous by intent. Sociability at a level where privacy and pageantry coexist. Gardens of cushions, pools that recall placid lakes, sightlines designed to capture the sunset. The yacht becomes a substitute for a palace on islands, moving at will, delivering experiences that feel both public and intimately curated. For those who see luxury as performance, Dubai is an area, broad, brilliant, and unapologetically loud. Topaz marries classic yachting lines with the comforts demanded by contemporary owners, resulting in a vessel that feels both timeless and entirely livable. Her staterooms are luxurious without ostentation, fine fabrics, technology that anticipates needs without intruding. Multiple pools carve the decks into social islands, a place to gather, toast, watch the horizon melt into color. Topaz's design respects the tradition of great yachts, embraces innovations that make long voyages effortless for guests and for crew. Entertaining here is choreographed with a host's sensibility. Spaces flow, sightlines please, and service is orchestrated with quiet competence. The result is a home that moves, A private domain where the past's romance meets the present's convenience, and where every voyage feels both familiar and distinctly elevated. Lady Mora stands as a hallmark of an era when private yachting was intensely personal and flamboyantly bespoke. Her interiors offer lavishness that recalls a time when a helicopter pad was an emblem of arrival and a statement of independence. The design choices speak of an owner's desire for intimacy and presence. Lavish fabrics, ornate details, and spaces conceived for private drama rather than public display. There's a familiarity to her that comforts, as if each room remembers the footsteps of gatherings past, the soft echoes of speeches, and the quiet laughter of close friends. Crew members aboard Lady Mora carry themselves as keepers of a legacy, tending to a vessel that has aged with dignity. In her silhouette and her storied corners, one finds a timeless approach to extravagance, personal, proud, and quietly commanding. We have sailed a long way tonight, across steel lacquer, through pools, private concert halls, into the intimate corridors of the very rich. Some prefer scale, some seek speed, others cultivate secrecy like a second skin. Yet all share the same impulse: to make the sea an extension of a life lived without compromise. Which of these floating palaces would you call your own? Consider the answer carefully. It reveals more than taste. It exposes a longing for spectacle, for serenity, or for service itself. Which of these floating palaces would you call your own? If you crave more journeys into the world of extreme luxury, subscribe and join us for the next voyage. Until then, may your horizons be wide, your passages smooth, and your curiosity forever ready to set sail.